Hi, I'm Patrick Reagan. The Storage Devices Part 4, Removable Drives and External Drives covers flash drives, memory cards, optical drives, and eSATA. Removable storage devices are devices that can be easily connected to or inserted to a computer and removed. They tend to be small and portable, which has both benefits and risk. The benefits include being small and portable, and non-volatile memory, which remembers content without power. However, risks include that they can be lost or stolen easily, can be used to copy sensitive data, which you can easily carry out, and can be used to install malware. Common removable storage devices are flash drives, memory cards, and optical disks. A flash drive is a small, ultra-portable storage device without moving parts, which connect to the computers and other devices via a built-in USB connector, such as Type A or Type C. They are often referred to as USB drives, pen drives, thumb drives, and jump drives. Today, sizes are 64 gigabytes to 2 terabytes or larger. To use a flash drive, just insert it into a free USB port on the computer. On most computers, you'll be alerted that the flash drive was inserted and the contents of the drive will appear on the screen. USB drives are hot swappable. USB drives were introduced with USB 2.0, so they are not available to the first generation USB ports. As you can see in the table, speed almost doubles with each new version. Most common file systems used for USB drives are FAT32, exFAT, and NTFS. FAT32 is the most compatible file system with older and modern operating systems, but it offers no security. The maximum file size is 4 gigabytes. exFAT is compatible with most Windows and Mac operating systems and can have files larger than 4 gigabytes. It's the default file system on USB drives over 32 gigabytes in size. NTFS, which is used with Windows, does offer some security features that the other two file systems do not offer, and can handle large files, but it has more overhead than FAT32 and exFAT. Macintoshes need a third-party utility to read and write NTFS. If you want to change file systems, you will most likely need to reformat the drive, which will cause you to lose your data on the drive. As I mentioned before, flash drives are easily stolen or lost, and since flash drives are small and portable, they can be easily used to steal sensitive data and to install malware into the system. If security is a concern, you can disable USB using the BIOS setup program to prevent someone using a USB drive on the computer. Some specialized software or security software can control which USB devices can be used in a computer to limit the use of flash devices on the computer. For example, you can look at Active Directory group policies in your anti-malware and EDR solution. Since flash drives can easily contain confidential or proprietary information, it's important to take extra steps in protecting the data on the flash drive. Some flash drives include strong encryption to protect data stored on flash drives. Some USB drives require a PIN code into a physical keyboard to access the drive, and some drives can self-destruct the content if too many attempts at passwords or if physically tampered with. Alternatively, you can use Microsoft BitLocker to encrypt drive or other software to encrypt content on the flash drives. Most flash drives support making the drive bootable, which can be used to perform installations of software, including operating systems, and for troubleshooting a computer that will not boot properly or load the operating system. The links on the screen to steps or software to create a bootable flash drive. I personally use Rufus. A memory card is a small, portable, solid-state storage device used to store digital information like photos, videos, and documents. Memory cards are commonly used in devices such as digital cameras, smartphones, tablets, game consoles, dash cams, and security cameras. Memory cards need to be formatted before use, especially with new cards or when switching them between different devices, especially if they are different brands. Formatting clears any existing data and ensures the card is compatible with the new device, helping prevent file errors. They will typically have FAT16, FAT32, or exFAT file system. Memory cards do have a limited number of writes, but some are rated to thousands of write cycles. However, memory cards are easy to lose or damage. Common memory card form factors include SD, which is short for Secure Digital, a proprietary non-volatile flash memory card format developed by the SD Association, or SDA, for use in portable devices that support up to 2 terabytes with the SDXC card. MicroSD and Mini SD cards are smaller versions of the SD card. CF, short for Compact Flash, are for portable electronic devices up to 512 gigabytes. The XD picture card is an obsolete form of flash memory card used in digital cameras used in older Olympus and Fujifilm cameras. Memory stick is proprietary to Sony devices. You can connect ATA drives externally using USB adapters or external SATA, also known as eSATA. eSATA also uses this 7-pin data cable, but cables can be longer, 2 meters or 6.6 feet, compared to the internal SATA of 1 meter or 3.3 feet. Power is provided separately through its own power cord or through an eSATA P port, which is also known as eSATA/USB or Power over eSATA. The P is for power, which power is provided through the USB interface. eSATA drives can be hot swappable, but it depends on the SATA controller and the motherboard's compatibility with hot swapping. Speeds are 1.1 gigabits per second for SATA Rev 1 to 6 gigabits per second for SATA 3. You can connect ATA drives externally using USB. USB high speed do offer speeds of 480 megabits per second and USB super speed up to 5 gigabits per second, but expect speeds up to 160 megabits per second for hard drives and 500 megabits per second for SSDs. Optical discs have small bumps on a plastic disc with a reflective material that can be read and in some cases written to by using a laser. They can reliably hold onto your data for 50 years or more without degradation. Drive's life is about 5 years. By comparison, tape's life is about 30 years. It's relatively slow and has limited size compared to hard drives, SSDs, and tapes, and with the growth of flash drives and cloud storage, has greatly reduced the use of optical discs to store data. Today, optical discs can be found with PATA, SATA, USB, IEEE 1394 FireWire, or eSATA interfaces. It should be noted that some read-only drives cannot read-write disk, and some drives cannot read older format disk. CD/DVD drives use a red laser, and Blu-ray uses a blue-violet laser, which explains the name. From the initial release, drives got faster as indicated by the X factor, which is nothing compared to hard drives and SSDs. Most retail CD, DVD, or Blu-ray are used to transfer music, software, and movies, can only be read and not changed. To write to an optical disc, you'll need a specialized writable drive and sometimes specialized software which costs more than the drive that can only read. Types of discs affect if the disc is read-only or read-writable. Formats such as CD-R and DV-R are write once, read many, which make these discs data tamper-proof. CD read-write and DVD read-write are rewritable, but with a limited number of times you can rewrite. DVD read-write and DVD plus read-write can be rewritten approximately 100 times. DVD RAM can be overwritten up to 100,000 times with a special drive, but only has a life of about 25 years. This screen shows some common examples of optical writable materials from CDs at 650 megabits to DVDs up to Blu-ray disc. The world is divided into 6 regions for DVDs and 3 regions for Blu-ray. DVDs and Blu-ray drives and discs can have region codes which limit the playing of movie disc in other parts of the world. The drive must be set for the correct region code, or the optical disc made for that area will not work. Some drives allow the region code to be changed a specific number of times. If you store music or movie files on an optical disc, or even on drives, you will most likely need a codec to play them. Codec is short for code or decoder, which is used to compress and decompress media files such as songs or videos. To eject an optical disc in Windows, you can right-click a drive and click Eject. You can also press the button at the front of the drive. For last resort, you can insert and push a paper clip into a small emergency eject hole. If a drive is not recognized by the operating system, if it's an external optical drive, make sure it is turned on. These often have an on-off switch or button. Make sure the drive is connected properly, including power, and is configured correctly, such as jumpers used in PATA, or if your device, port, or expansion slot is enabled in the BIOS setup program. Make sure that you have the proper driver and software installed. In Windows, you can right-click a recordable drive and click Properties to see if the recording tab is missing. If it's missing, you most likely need drivers. If the drive is still not working, swap the drive and cables, or try the drive and cables in another machine. If a drive cannot read a disk, be sure that the drive supports the disk that you're using. Ensure that the disk is clean and does not have scratches. Try the disk in another computer and drive. Suspect a faulty drive. Refer to the manufacturer's recommendation for cleaning the drive. If the computer cannot play an optical disc, in Windows, you can make sure the drive and related video sound options are connected properly, are on, and volume and brightness are turned up. Check if the region code is affecting your playback. When playing back sound or video files, verify that you have the correct codec on your machine. Question: you need a portable, low-cost storage solution that is small enough to carry in a pocket and has the largest capacity possible. Which of the following is the best solution for the user? Answer: flash drive. Question: you have a 128 gigabyte flash drive. You try to copy a movie file to the flash drive that is about 5 gigabytes, but it will not copy. What is most likely the problem? Answer: you're most likely using FAT32 file system, which is limited to 4 gigabytes maximum file size. Question: you need to add storage to a workstation. The workstation does not have room to add any internal storage, so the technician plans to add an external storage device. Which of the following connection types should the technician most likely use? Answer: eSATA. Question: you need to format a 64 gigabyte flash drive. Which of the following would you recommend? Answer: exFAT. Question: you're upgrading the storage on an Android tablet and install a new microSD card. Unfortunately, the tablet does not show the storage for the microSD card. What is most likely the problem? Answer: the microSD card is not formatted with the file system. Question: you're installing an optical drive for a computer that needs to create long-term backups for his project. Which type of drive should you install? Answer BD-R. Question. For optical drives, which offers the biggest disk storage? Answer BDDL. For more information, visit these sites. In summary, a flash drive is a small, ultra-portable storage device without moving parts that connect to a USB port. Since flash drives are small and portable, they can be used to steal sensitive data and to install malware into a system. Most flash drives support making the drive bootable, which can be used to perform installations of software, including operating systems and for troubleshooting a computer. A memory card is a flash memory device that can store data in a non-volatile state, which are often used for small portable devices including phones and cameras. Optical discs have small bumps on a plastic disc with reflective material that can be read and in some cases written by using a laser. You can eject a disc inserting and pushing a paperclip into the drive's emergency eject hole. Playing back optical discs may be affected by region codes and codecs. Thank you for watching this video. The next video will be Storage Devices, Part 5, Preparing a Drive for Usage in File Systems. If you have not already, subscribe to the Pat Has Your Back channel. Thank you.